Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Dennis Duce, and I'm with SEO.com. I'm also the social media director or manager for Racing with Passion. Glad to have you here on the webinar today. We're going to be talking to you as a sponsor of the race about how you can make the most out of this race, how you can engage with your customers and make personal relationships with them through the use of some social media tools. So let's go ahead and get started, and we're going to step right into this. First thing we're going to talk about, I'm going to move to a PowerPoint presentation here. Give me just a second and we'll back up to the beginning of it. And so our class is called, or our webinar is called Social Sponsoring, Making the Most Out of Your Company's Involvement in Racing with Passion. Things we're going to be talking about is how to use some certain tools, tips, and tricks to make the most out of this event coming up September 7th. We're going to talk to you about how to use the sponsored hashtag SLC5A to create relationships. If you've never used a hashtag before or you don't totally understand them, don't worry about it. You will by the end of this webinar. Facebook tips, we're going to talk to you about how to engage with our runners. We're going to talk to you about Twitter and some of the things that are different. Now keep in mind, every social media has some overlap, and you'll notice as we go through this webinar that there is overlap between each one of these. But we're going to be talking about Twitter, some of the tricks to use to get involved with that, and we're going to be going over Google+. Google+ is the best social media application for business. So if you're not active on Social+, today is the day to get started, because that's the place you're going to make the biggest difference. LinkedIn is basically a place to share some information, but it doesn't have the interactive tools that Google+ does. So Google+ is really taking off as the place for your online marketing. It is also the best place to get some SEO or search engine optimization traffic because, well, at the end of the day, who are we trying to impress on the web? How are we trying to get our websites found in search? Nearly like 75% of all searches worldwide are done on Google properties. You're keeping Google happy. Google likes to see action on Google+. We're also going to be talking about some personalized tips for some of the companies who join in the webinar. We'll be monitoring who's joined us and talk to you directly. And so let's get started with Facebook tips, things that you can do to engage your runners. First one, questions, questions, questions. I'm telling you, it's just like conversation. If you're having a conversation with somebody, if you want to draw out a greater conversation, ask them questions. If you want to bore them to death, turn them off and make them walk away from the conversation, talk at them. It's the same thing on social media. You want to be engaging those people to interact with you. So ask them questions. Ask them things like, what are you doing to train for the upcoming 5K race? Ask them what their favorite foods are, what their favorite music is for training, what kind of shoes they wear. Stephanie had a really great question that she put up on Racing with Passion about compression socks a little while ago. Got some huge engagement. So just make sure that you get involved and ask questions. You can ask those questions on your own Facebook page. You can ask those questions on Stephanie's Racing with Passion page because you are a sponsor. So get involved in the Racing with Passion and use that. Post content that would be of interest to race members before the race. So again, these are things like tips. You may find a blog or you may write a blog about tips for nutrition, tips for protecting your skin. You know, Knock is one of our sponsors, and of course Knock makes I think it's an SPF 50 sunscreen. Well, then you could talk a lot about how to protect yourself when you're out running. That would be a good thing for Knock. Of course, we've got Protein Bakery out of New York City. They could put some interaction in about how to utilize a good protein balance in order to train better and increase your times and your stamina. course, as you can tell, I'm a SEO social media guy. I don't know a whole lot about nutrition, so if I totally botched that up, apologize. Another thing, post images. Images get more traction than anything else. And if you can have images of the people at the race, that's even better. So if you're a local company like Knock is, or, you know, well, most of our companies are local, not all of them, but if you're a local company and you can be at the race taking some pictures, posting those pictures up on your fan page, even better if you could actually have a computer there after the race where people could come log into their Facebook page and tag themselves, you're going to start to get a lot of traction, a lot of interaction. After the last race that we had on July 20th or June 20th, no, it was July 20th, sorry. The last race, the Gravity Hill 5K that Stephanie put on, we had more interaction on pictures of tagged members than we had on anything else, and a huge spike in our Facebook traffic through the use of pictures. So get involved by using pictures. Tag individuals in comments and images. So if you're there at the race or you're not, and you know somebody that shows up in a picture, you're watching pictures on Facebook during the race, and you know one of the other sponsors, or you see Stephanie, you know, Stephanie's busy. She can't be tagging herself and stuff. Hey, pictures, tag Racing with Passion in the pictures. That can be helpful. Tag your friends, tag your family. These kinds of things open it up to a viral world, and more people outside of just Racing with Passion, the friends of those people, are going to start to see that the race is going on, and they're going to have a better chance of engaging both with Racing with Passion and with you and your brand. Respond to individuals who follow you at the event. So especially a good idea is to give some kind of, hey, you know, promote yourself. We're here. We've got, you know, we're going to do this giveaway for a protein pack of, you know, these cookies, or a pack of sunscreens. If you like us on these different formats, then, you know, we're going to give you XYZ. Speaking of which, if you will like us on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+, we'll send you links to all sorts of tools that will help you in doing and monitoring these things. We've got that all put together for you, so just go ahead and like us on those pages, and then direct message us or send us a message telling us that you heard about it through this web. We'll send you the notes from this webinar, and you'll be able to engage in some of these things a little bit better. Again, giving away some marketing material or product is a great way to have people follow you at the races. So engage the clients through, you know, giving them these, and get them to follow you on Facebook, like your page, and reach out to you. One of the important things to do on your personal fan page or your business fan page, you want to include your logo for your brand marketing. Let me show you SEO.com's page. You can see right there under the penguin, we've got our logo right there. The penguin and the panda in there, those are kind of jokes relating to some changes that Google did that were called penguin and panda. So if you're in the SEO world, you totally understand that. But right, that square, that's the picture that you want to have as your logo. The other picture should be something pertaining to what you do. Okay, Racing with Passion has theirs set up. The background picture is always a picture from the last race, and that other one is their logo. That's what you want to do. That's the right way to have your Facebook page set up. So there's our Facebook. At this point in time, I'm going to pop off of the slideshow, undo the screen share, and see, does anybody at this point have any questions? Looks like we've added a new person. Let's see who's joined us here. We have got, Kathy. All right, Kathy, hey, I don't know if you were in when we started talking about Knock, but glad to have you on, and we will be talking more about Knock as we move along. I'm going to move back into the PowerPoint slideshow, and we're going to move into Twitter. So here we go, starting the screen share, and Twitter, tricks to get more involvement through Twitter. Don't know how many of you are already using Twitter as a tool, but again, just like Facebook, and you're going to notice When we get to Google Plus, same thing. Questions, questions, questions. I can't reiterate this enough. It's the best way to engage your clients. Put it out there, open the conversation, turn it into a conversation. At the end of the day, social media is not media, it's social first, right? So get questions going, get involvement, get engagement. You want to use the proper hashtag. Let me explain what I mean by using the proper hashtag. First of all, spell it right. Okay, the hashtag for the race coming up is the hashtag symbol, the number symbol, and then the letters SLC5K, all connected together. A hashtag is only what is connected. If you put a space in, that ends the hashtag. And the next word is just a word, not part of the hashtag. So make sure you got it all connected. Now, if you're, again, we got Knock on the line with us. Let's use Knock as an example. Knock may want to use a hashtag in conversation on Twitter, something like sunscreen, not such a great hashtag, but a hashtag, you can go on, you can check what hashtags are getting used, but you may find that there's a lot of people out there using a hashtag, how to not get burned, to protect your skin, or other things. So check some different hashtags, try them out, see what they how they work, and how who's using them, and see if you can't kind of get into that conversation. Hashtags are a good way to get into the conversation. One of the things I do as a hobby is I take personal photos that I've taken of me and my family and my kids and my Great Dane or whatever it is, and then I put quotes over the top of it from famous people, and I post those at least a couple of times a day. I post some photo, and I always put quote, or I put quotes, or I put picture quotes as a hashtag at the bottom of that. Those are actually not great hashtags because they're so generic, except that what I'm trying to do isn't promote my business. I'm trying to create a connection between other people who have a similar hobby based around the love of quotes. So your hashtag needs to be not only properly spelled and written, but it also needs to be proper for its purpose. Okay? Let's move on. Retweet what others are saying or using at the event. So you want to watch what's going on at the event, especially set up a monitor on Twitter for the hashtag SLC5K. Also in the notes, again, if you like us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, we'll send you the notes from this presentation. And we're going to go ahead and give you some tools that you can use to monitor across a broader network, because at this point in time, everybody is using hashtags, okay? So we want to retweet the things that people are saying. That makes people feel good. It's kind of like a pat on the back. Hey, thanks. I appreciated what you were saying. That was really cool. Your picture's really cool, whatever. Make some comment about it. And if you're retweeting something and there's a link in there, so long as the link isn't stupid and spammy, if the link is legitimately to, their business, let's say that one of the other sponsors, let's say we've got a chiropractor that's involved with us. Let's say he did a tweet, and in it was a link back to his chiropractic office. Don't take out the link. If you have to shorten the thing up to get in that 140 character rule that Twitter has, shorten something else up, leave their link in. Of course, that only goes if it's legit and makes sense. If it's something spammy to some weird website, then probably don't even retweet at all. Ask individuals at the race what their handle is and jump on and follow them. You can do this from your phone. It's really easy. Get the Twitter app or get Hootsuite or get one of those apps on your phone to manage your Twitter account. And find out what's your handle. Do you have a handle? Are you on Twitter? What's your handle if you are? And jump on and follow them. By the way, my handle personally, @DennisDuce. Our handle for SEO.com, @SEOcom, no dot in there. So go ahead and please follow us at those places. Also, mention them in a tweet. So if you met somebody and you had some conversation and, maybe they were a member of 1 Hour for Life, okay, but you've got their personal handle there, go ahead and make a tweet out, put the @ and the rest of their handle, and say, hey, it was great meeting you. Love the work that you're doing with 1 Hour for Life. That's just an example. Something along those lines. Make them feel good. This is a pay it forward society. And on the internet, the concept of pay it forward works a lot faster than karma does in the real world. So you give something out there to the world, you're going to get something back for sure. You want to use Twitter to direct message a link to a discount or some kind of resource that you have available to give to them. Again, don't direct message in a spammy way, but that would be something like, ha ha ha, I just saw this picture. I get those all the time. They annoy the heck out of me. I never click on them. But if you've got a discount for people that were involved in the race, then reach out and say, hey, met you at the race, here's a discount, or it could be a resource link. Follow me on Facebook as well, and, we'll do whatever for you. Get creative with this to try and create greater engagement. You don't just want followers. Remember, this is not a quantity race. A lot of people are thinking in this day and age that the number of friends they have, the number of fans they have, the number of Twitter followers they have is going to show how great they are. Well, that's kind of like high school popularity contest. Really doesn't matter a whole lot. What you want to do is make certain that you are engaging with the people that are involved. You'd be better off to have 200 people following you on Twitter, but all of them commenting, than you would to have 2,000 people following you on Twitter, or 20,000 or 200,000, and none of them even caring what you're saying. So create engagement by @mentioning, by direct messaging, those kinds of things. And then share short, insightful pieces of knowledge. If you're a runner, give some idea of, what people can do, what you're doing to improve your running, and what other people can do. This is something that Stephanie does fairly regularly. She shows the races she's in, those kinds of things. That's great content. By putting that out there, you're doing a number of different things, especially if you write a longer blog than 140 characters on your website, and then you share that blog. Now you've created a backlink. Backlinks are vital to improving your online recognition. So that's a good way to improve your strengths through Google and your SEO. So there's some tricks on Twitter. Of course, the same thing holds true with Twitter that did with Facebook. You want to use your logo to as the main center photo, and then you want to use a larger picture as your backdrop picture. So make sure that you use your logo in the right place. The only reason you would use a personal picture in that square photo is if it's a personal account. But if it is your business account, like SEO.com is, then we use our logo. On my personal account, I have a picture of me actually taken at one of the Racing with Passion races, and that's my photo on there. So let's jump out for a second again and see if we've got any questions at this point. Anybody have any questions before we move back into the presentation about what to do on Twitter? All right. Good deal. I am going to move on now to what I think is the most important of all of these, which is the great Google+. Let's go ahead and show you what's going on with Google+ here. Google+, I personally call it the social media for business. And the more you get involved, the more you'll see. The content on Google Plus is more in depth. You can actually do an entire blog on there, and people do it all the time. It's fairly regular. So as opposed to Twitter, which is 140 characters, and Facebook, which is I think 300 and something, Google Plus has no limit to it. So you can get pretty in depth. The content is a little more intelligent. It's a little less about, hey, let's be friends and hang out. It's a little bit more about let's build relationships. Again, questions are always in any social media. It doesn't matter. You can extrapolate that out to Instagram, to Pinterest, to wherever, every social media outlet there is. Questions should be a big part ongoing of what you're doing. You want to have in your information on Google+, you want to make sure that your information is quality. as you're moving up to the event and even past the event. So for Knock, again, who's on the call with us right now, you may want to include some information about why your product is better. You could even get fairly deep, detailed, and scientific. If you do a link to a blog post, which is a great idea from Google+, then you want to make sure that that link, or that in the post, you put a good piece, maybe a paragraph or a paragraph and a half with a ... to continue, and the link. But the content on Google+ is expected to be of a higher caliber, more intellectual than on some of the other social media sites. You want to do mini posts on Google+ pages targeting people that are in a racing mindset. So, you know, the chiropractor could talk about how he would be able to help you out with, you know, improving your times or something like that. I got to make a quick plug here for the chiropractor. I met him at the last race, and my wife was complaining about some pain in her legs, and he was standing right there when she said it, and she says, "Is that something you could fix?" And he goes, "Well, I don't know. I'd have to check with you." I absolutely loved that because, as you know, so many chiropractors are like, "I can fix anything. We can get rid of your warts with chiropractic." And I just loved the reality of this guy. He's very real. So unfortunately, can't remember his name. Let me just check out for a second, see if Stephanie gave me his name. Not yet. But we will have links in the notes for his name. I apologize that I do not remember him, but I will never forget him as a person because, wow, great stuff. Let's keep moving on here. We got technical difficulties, and I'm not sure why. I can't seem to screen share. So, don't know why. Let's turn the screen share back on one more time. Here we go. Continue with that. Okay. Join communities and start contributing. In a second, I'm going to give you some pointers on how to join communities and start contributing to that. But here's the key thing. In Google+, there are a lot of communities based around certain concepts, ideas like running, like skincare, like nutrition, like SEO, like social media. And you can join these communities and start contributing. And what starts to happen as you do that is you start to establish for yourself as an expert in that industry. And as you start to establish yourself as an expert in that industry, it leads greater credibility to your website, greater credibility to who you are. So you want to get involved in these communities. You want to have these conversations because it's going to increase how well you can be found online, and it's going to help people to see that you are in fact an expert. You know what you're talking about in, you know, running, exercise, chiropractic, nutrition, whatever it is that your company specializes in, that's the thing you want to jump on and be talking about. You also want to share with selected groups or lists. So your groups or lists, and this is something that you can do in any of your social media. You can break down the people that are following you into groups or lists. Or in the case of Google+, which we're talking about right now, they're called circles. Doesn't matter, they're all kind of the same thing here, but you can share certain pieces of information only to certain people, which makes it so that it's not publicly visible, but makes it so that there's a greater chance that you're going to create an engagement around that particular thing. So that's a great idea to involve your people in your brand and get to know your brand by creating lists. You know, you may have a list for all Racing with Passion people that you've ever met. You may even have a list for just based around certain races. As you continue from year to year, you could have lists that specific. So create these lists, use these lists as a way of managing your content and thereby creating greater engagement. Again, you want to make sure that your picture is the individual picture on your Google Plus is your logo, which in the case of Google Plus is a circle because, well, Google Plus is all about circles, so why would it be a square? But it's that small one down in the lower left corner that has a white version of our logo in it and blocks out part of the SEO.com. That is where you want to have your logo, and that will show up throughout all of your Google Plus feed. So here's how you join communities to start contributing. I told you we'd touch on this. You click on the home page in the upper left-hand corner. You can get a drop-down menu. You'll see communities right there. When you click on communities, it's going to give you a list of communities that have some interest to you. So you take a look at these communities. These are actually communities that may have some interest to one of the members of the SEO team who happens to be majorly into Utah or into photography, and as you can see, he's also a Utah local. So, you know, what comes up there is going to be different for you than it is for us, but these things will be of interest to you. Start checking out what these communities are, get involved, and that's going to give you greater credibility. We're at the end of our slides at this point. I'm going to undo the screen share and go live back to the camera. Dr. Crick. Dr. Crick. That's the name. Thank you, Stephanie, for giving me that that name. The guy is great. He's at all the races. Oh, Albert just hit me with a note saying that those are actually the communities he's already following that we were looking at. So, yeah. And if you noticed, he wants to point out Albert is into fitness. Yes, he is. He's a runner, and he has personally and manually chosen to join all those communities. So, yeah, there's some points from Albert. Thanks a lot for the notes. Let me reach out and just ask, is there anyone who's got any questions at this point in time on things that they need some help or understanding on? While I'm waiting for a response, because there's a slight, let me just say something here. I am monitoring a hashtag that is Ask Dennis Duce. So you put the hashtag Ask Dennis Duce, all one word. If you've got a question about SEO, about SMO, so SEO is search engine optimization, SMO is social media optimization. I can help you out with any of those online marketing questions, anything like that. Be happy to help you out. That's what I do. And so love to engage with you. You can also find me on Facebook. I'm at Utah Search Consultant on Facebook, at Dennis Duce on Twitter, and Dennis Duce on SEO or on Google Plus. And there's multiple Dennis Duces on Google Plus. The one I'm most active with is the one that has the picture of me in a purple T-shirt. So remember, purple T-shirt. That's the one you want to engage with. Albert hit me with another note here. If you have not joined any communities, then when you jump to that community page, all you're going to see is suggested communities according to communities that your friends are already in. Stephanie says, how many posts can you make on other Facebook pages in a day? I want to share my races on running pages, and I don't want to overstep. You know, that really depends on who's managing the page, how many posts you can make on a page. I mean, everybody's a little bit different. One thing to remember is that there's kind of a descending hierarchy in social media. In other words, the longer the posts, the less often that you want to be posting. Therefore, Twitter posts a ton. So you could find those races on Twitter. And of course, the Racing with Passion Twitter feed is at SLC5K. Similar to the hashtag, it's just the @ sign instead of the number sign, at SLC5K. But Stephanie can go on and you could post, you know, the heck out of @ question, just jump all over that. But in Facebook, you're going to want to be a little less involved as far as a specific number. If you really want to know a number, the best thing really to do is to send a direct message to the person who runs it. Hey, I'm interested in talking about my race on this running page that you've got on Facebook or on Google Plus. You know, how often, I've got the race in 3 weeks. How often do you feel comfortable with me, posting? Okay. And then put out a number, because, hey, if you put out a number, they're more likely to say, yeah, that's okay. So, ask if it's okay to post once or twice a day on their Facebook, if it's okay to post 3 or 4 times a day on your, on a Twitter feed, or, once a day on Google Plus. She continues, what I meant was post about my race on Wasatch Running, then Salt Lake Running, and so one post per page. Do Twitter posts have to be what is happening at the moment? I always thought that was the case. No, Twitter posts don't have to be what's happening at the moment. Twitter posts, now that's kind of how the celebrities do Twitter posts. It's like, hey, I'm just stepping up from my table at this restaurant and going to the bathroom, like I care, right? You're doing Twitter for business here, people. So you want to get in and tweet things that are of interest to the people that are following you. So yes, you could do at the moment tweets about, hey, just heading out for a run. When you're done with the tweet, hey, just got back from this run, this is how far I went. Especially if you're using an app on your phone. Nike makes one that's really cool. If none of you have used it, it's kind of fun, because when somebody likes something on Facebook that you've posted at the beginning of the race, it actually starts to cheer through your headphones. And my wife loves that app because of that. But there's lots of apps that will post on your behalf to Facebook, Twitter. You just have to give them their login information. And then that's the at the moment stuff. But you also want to post about things that are going to happen, things that happened. You want to establish yourself as an expert, so you want to post back to links and blogs. Racing with Passion should be blogging, about training techniques, about preparing for 5K. They do a lot of blogs on there about people that they highlight at their races. That's something that's really cool that Racing with Passion does, is they highlight somebody at every race, and then they write a blog post about them. So that's really cool. And you put those kinds of things with links on your Twitter, your Facebook, your Google Plus, Instagram, Pinterest, wherever you're active. You don't have to be active in all of them. What you need to do is find the one that works the best for you, that you're the most comfortable with, and then use that one. Don't try and use everything that's out there. You can post multiple posts per page on Wasatch Running. Again, the best thing to do is to ask, hey, how often can I post? Now, another thing is that because you're a guest posting on that, it's not going to show up as strong in the feed. So a lot of people like myself, quite honestly, Utah Search Consultant, post all you want. Post 60 times a day to it. It's just interaction. So the reality is it's good for my page. So if people really understand what's going on, then, they'll take benefit from that. I'm going to open it up to one more question. We've gone over by 5 minutes on what I promised you, but just want to make sure that everybody's questions are answered. Again, if you have any questions, you can email me, dennis@seo.com. You can also email me, keynote@seo.com. And you can use a hashtag on any social media, hashtag AskDennisDuce. If you got any questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you. Be happy to help you out if you've got some difficulties with Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, whatever it is. Please use the hashtag SLC5K between now and the race. One last plug I want to put in is SEO.com is sponsoring a corporate challenge in the race. So anybody that can put together a team of 5 or more is going to get a number of different benefits. First of all, we're going to be talking about those teams up to and before the race on all of our social media feeds. Probably have at least one blog post about it as well. We also will have some kind of blog post about who the winners are. We're going to have a big award ceremony here at our office. We got a big theater that everybody's going to come, and we're going to watch, some kind of a really fun movie. We'll probably put out on social media asking people what, sport type movie, Rudy, Rocky, Chariots of Fire, that one about bike careers in New York that was just out recently. Some movie like that we'll play. We'll probably put it out to those who are going to be coming and let you all have a choice in the decision. But field a team, knock. All you need to do is bring in 5 people. Of course, Racing with Passion won't be posting a team. SEO.com will at least have one. We may have more. Jerk's Bike Shop, they're going to be posting a team, putting together 5 members. We'd love to have you put together teams. We're going to be, looking for greater involvement in the community through kind of an initiative of corporate involvement in the races. So glad you were on the webinar. I hope this was helpful. Any questions you got, feel free to reach out to me. Always here to help, and really had a great time. Look forward to seeing you the day of the race, and watch out. Albert and I are going to be posting pictures like crazy day of the race. We're going to be there taking photos and videos and everything else. So thank you very much. Let's all go out and make the most out of today. Let's live with passion. Thanks, Stephanie, for making this all possible through Racing with Passion. And until next time, appreciate you being here.